Hello there. You're listening to Linda Pinizzato of the Condo Expert. And, I got to elaborate on some of the closing information I had popped in there was about why would a board of directors shut down a beautifully operating website that was done professionally, that creates enormous exposure for this phenomenal building on Blue Jays Way down at right by Front Street in downtown Toronto, and turn around and put up something that's just downright embarrassing. I think it goes back to fear. Like, what are they afraid of? Why on earth would any board of directors do that and provide false representation to their owners in the building about the website, about the voting process of the website, and go through a whole turmoil for a long period of time only to then turn around and shut it down? These are questions that condo owners need to think about, when you're sitting down having a cup of coffee with your friends or going out and you just start talking condominiums. You got to reflect. And we're taking a little bit of thought away here for a moment. You have to reflect about actions that your board of directors have taken that, quite frankly, don't make any sense. Logic. Think about logic and being logical. Okay, because you know what? It's interesting. Everyone makes a decision based on some thought process. And if somebody or a group of people do something out of the blue that you never expected them to do, there has to be a reason behind it. Besides, if it was a 5-member board decision, then there had to be discussions as to why they felt that this was a benefit. And that doesn't mean just whether it's a website. It could be anything. It could be anything that's going on in the building. It could be changing all your contracts. Maybe terminating the contract with your security who's been in the building now for the last 3 years. Maybe it's terminating your cleaners. All of a sudden you're seeing new people float around the building and you're not sure exactly what's going on. There's so many different things and there's so many changes. Today I have Derek Thomas. He is president and owner of itmayday.com. And we've been talking about websites and the operations of a property management office and so on. And based on that intro, Derek, I have one question for you. Do you find that once you've gone into a condo building and everything seems to be working properly and the computer systems are great and your scanners and faxes and the communication and the websites and really this condominium is now operating as a well-run machine? And, unfortunately, every condo building is opened to new elections once a year, with the possibility and potential of having a board change that would actually take away a majority vote. Does that not sometimes uproot the mechanical functionings of the office because different people coming in, different decisions? I'm not sure if the imbalance, how does that play a role in the operations world?
It's a good question. What we've noticed IT Mayday is usually, with the condo board, it's 3 years. So it's usually a 3-year turnaround. And then what we need to do is go in and discuss with the new board. And sometimes we don't even get the opportunity to discuss with the new board because we usually receive an email telling us our service is no longer needed or the website is no longer required, which we could never understand. But it is an up and down situation, when it comes to new boards and because whenever new board members come in, if it's a majority board that gets voted in, they always have different initiatives. But I believe that, for one, their first and foremost initiative should be to make sure that property management is running properly and smoothly. And that includes the IT equipment and also the website if there's a website being built. Because if you take these mechanisms away, then you're going to have miscommunication problems. And then residents and owners are going to wonder, well, why isn't the website up? What happened to the website? But obviously, we don't know what transpires after that or what information they're given to their board or the building members in the building. But I do know that I've heard from certain sources that they are asking, and they've asked about, why isn't the website up anymore? And they've been given different answers as to why it's not up. Now, as far as looking after their computer systems, it's usually the same as well. We provided A1 service, and all of a sudden the new board comes in and someone else gets the contract. Usually it's, I know they know someone on the board that whatever it is, and then all of a sudden, this company's looking after us now, whether it be usually more expensive, but that tends to be the way things happen. So yes, it does disrupt the services and the smooth running of the condo board, but I think it's something that some board members don't really care too much about.
And I think that seems to go right back the recognition of what was found out at the Condo Act review. It was blatantly clear at the Condo Act review that there's kickbacks and there's problems between a disconnect of communication between property management and the condo board of directors on one side, and then the actual condo owners on the other. But the sad part is that, nowhere should that be interfering with the smooth operations of electronic equipment and the operations of the property management office. Now that's a shame, because, it doesn't help the building. It actually, every time you have a system, you could potentially put your entire computer system into a blue screen lockdown. Could you not? Could you not risk your computer systems from crashing on you?
Well, yeah, it goes back to your current IT person knows your computer systems.
Exactly.
If you've got someone else comes in there and starts mucking around and fooling around with stuff, things can happen, because then, they don't know what's been done previously. So what happens is something goes wrong, and it depends on their proprietary software that might on the system itself, the PC or the laptop. And with respect to the website, maybe they don't, you could hire a company that says they're competent, but they're not competent, and they could muck things up as well.
And you mentioned too, and that shocked me, is that some of the buildings that you've gone in, they decided to no longer use their IT person. They called you in, and you mentioned that you went into the website only to find out that the building didn't even own it.
Oh yeah, I've been there.
So they spent all this money and the building didn't even own it. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, it is. You would think that the building itself would ensure that when they're contracting particular IT company, to let them know that, hey, are we going to be the owners of the website and all the name itself? And it turns out that, well, whoever registered the website, they're the one who owns the website itself, not the corporation.
There you go. There's a huge mistake right there. And then there's another one, you said leasing. Instead of actually buying the equipment, which is considerably less expensive, they went and they leased their equipment.
Yeah, leasing is something that's reserved for big corporations, not for small operations. Because lease, the difference between the leasing and purchasing something through retail, it's for the corporations, or for large corporation like big businesses, I understand, because there's a 3-year turnaround, and within 3 years, they have to keep up with, the Joneses or technology. With a condo corporation, things don't change that quickly in 3 years that, you want to lease your equipment. It's just money out the window, because after 1 year, maybe even less than that, the equipment's already been owned.
And I'm going to throw a big one out there. Huge. This is huge. Identity theft. Now, these computer projects that are going on, what happens is in condominiums, property management, they have access to all the bank accounts of all the owners so that they can then put through their maintenance fees. And they've got, a copy of a blank check, which allows them to set it up with the bank so they can do automatic banking and so on. And in many cases, that could actually also include, for tenants and so on, it could potentially include SIN numbers and who knows what, identity-wise. So what on earth, I'm sorry, I'm venting here a bit. I got to tell you, condo owners, think about this, or residents for that matter. Identity theft is so common out there right now. Is it really smart not to have a good company looking after the property management computer hardware? You know, Derek, if a property management company has everybody and their brother coming in and out here and there just because of kickbacks or whatever else, how can they possibly protect their owners?
And I have to agree with you, Linda. It's tough, and being in the IT field for over 20 years now, it's based on trust. And you have to trust your IT provider because we have access to abundant amount of information, and you don't want to keep changing IT providers all the time because you might end up with the wrong IT company that just might just want to start poking around and accessing personal information. And if they do, you don't have a clue if they've done it or not. So for the property management companies out there, they should think twice before changing IT companies too often, unless you're not having great services. And if you're not, well, you should definitely contact IT Mayday.
Well, prior to you starting IT Mayday, I believe you were the forensic manager for Deloitte and Touche.
Yes, I guess I could talk about a little bit about my background.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, before I started my own business, IT Mayday, I worked for a little company called Deloitte and Touche for about 15 years. Started out with their actually phone support department, and my way up to desktop support, LAN support, which is local area network support, systems engineer support, which is systems engineer itself. And then finally I went to the forensic lab and became the IT forensic manager. So it was a long and tender career at Deloitte, and then finally I decided to venture out on my own. And now I'm the proud owner and president of IT Mayday.
And when you say Deloitte being a little company, there's Deloitte offices all over the world and over how many thousands and thousands of employees?
I know Deloitte's actually they have an office in every major city in the world. So think about it. That's every major city in the world. There's a Deloitte office. So when I was there, there was over 150,000 employees.
Exactly.
That's a lot worldwide.
Well, there you have it. So you condo managers out there, also certainly board of directors, the only company you might want to consider calling for your needs, whether it be your computer services in your property management office or whether it be designing a website and or anything else, getting updates on what's new in technology and your next step, whatever it is, somebody who can trust. Derek Thomas of IT Mayday. Did you want to give out your email address, Derek?
Yes, you could reach me at Derek Thomas, DERRICKTHOMAS at itmayday.com, or you could go to the website itmayday.com. That's itmayday.com. It's all one word. And also you could call our offices at 647-977-7113. Now that's 647-977-7113.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on to the Condo Expert today, Derek. It's been great having you.
My pleasure.
Thank you. And for condo owners out there, condo residents, you heard it here again, as usual, the Condo Expert. We're here to give you all the latest information, keep you updated on what's happening out there in the condo world. So many things to think about, but you know what? Internet. Protecting your identity, making sure your board of directors and or if you are a board of directors, pay attention to these words of caution and certainly advice. Get your systems working, get your backups going. Call IT Mayday. You have a wonderful day. It's always a pleasure.